The opinions expressed in the following podcast are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security or investment product. It is only intended to provide education and entertainment about the financial industry and the stock market. Enjoy.
On this episode of Pennies Going in Raw, we have the first ever crossover event, two different sides of FinTwit completely. We got the OTC side, we got the weed side, we got laid back style, and we got the Wolf of Weed Street.
Hey, yo, check 1, 2. This is Flavor Flav in the building for the Atlas crew.
Atlas Trading, what the fuck is up?
There are traders, there are prodigies, and then there's legends.
We're up 4%, baby.
No way.
4 fucking percent. Buy the fucking dip.
Hey, who told me about IDEX?
Like, dude, what the fuck? Like, someone just made, like, a lot more money than me on my trade.
You find out life's this game of pennies.
Did you check the portfolio?
Pennies. The margin for error is so small.
I bet Warren Buffett never did that.
And they out there making money right now off of penny stocks.
Them two guys is putting in work to make y'all rich.
The pennies we need are everywhere around us.
Time to think big.
Pennies Going in Raw.
Featuring Dan, Deity at Dukes.
And Hugh Honey.
Produced by Vinny Strokes, baby.
This episode is brought to you by Benzinga. Benzinga is our absolute favorite resource to use when we trade. We use it for news scanners. We use it for float checkers. We use it for stock screening. We use it for just about everything, including chat rooms and much, much more. But that's not all they have. They have YouTube as well. Hot Stocks Luke every single day has great guests on, ranging from Ripster to Mia Khalifa to Gary to all the best guests you need to hear from every single day, all day long. So make sure to go check that out. That's youtube.com/Benzinga. And if you look in the replies to this tweet, you will see how to get a discount code for Benzinga Pro. Make sure to go sign up for Benzinga Pro right now. You guys start obviously on completely different sides of it, but I just knew that this collab needed to happen. And just thank you guys for joining.
Yeah, happy to be here on a Friday night with Laid Back.
Dude, I just like stepped in the door and I saw what was going on Twitter. And he asked me to do it, so I'm always down. I think it's a good idea. Let's have some fun. So nice to meet you also, Wolf of Weed Street.
Likewise, Mr. Back.
Yeah, LB. All good.
Obviously, you guys are, like I said, on two different sides of FinTwit. But Wolf, before we even started, Jason, you were saying how your start in it was, it had kind of a related to his.
Yeah, I started in the OTC, with pot stocks back in 2013. Like everybody's like, oh, these runs are crazy. I was like, no, motherfucker. I was like, you've never been in a stock till it's run 10,000% in like 3 months. But that's the OTC, you play trips, you buy something for trip 5 and it goes to a penny and you're fucking swimming in it. It's crazy.
Yeah, it really is nuts. Like I remember even Dan knows. Dan bought that stupid piece of trash mine, right? But he bought it so low that it's like every 3 ticks he's up 100% or whatever the fuck it was, because he bought like trip 3.
Oh, it was every triple.
Oh, you
one,
bought once?
dude. I bought it. Yeah, and it actually this is funny that you mentioned it, because I sold it this week after holding it for a year and a half because the SEC halted it down for a few days.
Yeah, and
it didn't look like it was going to have a bounce after that one.
Yeah, well, at least you don't have to pay the short-term capital gains.
Yeah, no doubt. So I think one thing that's interesting, obviously, Jason, you kind of started in OTCs in weed solely because that was the only type of weed stock at the time. Do you kind of see any similar like sectors right now in OTC that could become bigger like weed was at the time?
There's a bunch of crypto stuff from like 2018. Maybe now like mining, but I don't know. It's so convoluted. Look, there's always like now I'm starting to see like magic mushroom, like penny stocks that were weed stocks back when I was trading them are now all of a sudden, magic mushroom stocks. So
You gotta love it. I'm just laughing because you gotta love the OTC, man. These companies will switch their business up in like overnight. You know what I mean? Like one of my favorite ones was like this. It was a cell phone company, and then one day they started selling water or something. It's like, so that's why I was just laughing. But yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with them. I see the other thing I see is like a lot of these miners, a lot of like they were dead like mining companies in OTC. But I see a lot of them coming back now. How many will actually be successful? Probably only one out of every 50. But
I always look at it like this. If your friend suggests to you a stock on the OTC that his friend suggested to him, you're probably too late. That's kind of like the rule of thumb. If somebody, because people still pitch me, penny stocks. They're like, dude, you got to get into this thing. It's like dub 2. I'm like, and I'll look at it, like, because it's fun. It's like trading options.
I just said the other day that if you have to ask if it's too late to get in, it probably is.
Yeah, exactly. But I always go back and I'm like, okay, I throw the cash tag in Twitter with their name, and I'm like, okay, when was this fucking guy talking about this? And I'm like, dude, you were buying this at dub 1. I'm like, you're trying to sell me your shares? Like, come on. But that's the OTC. Like there is a nuance to it. It does require skill. Like a lot of people think that there's no skill in it, but your skill is really your discipline and the speed at which you take profit. You don't like everybody's holding for a penny, right? Or if it's not a penny, it's $1, whatever it is. You've got to play in between the lines. And if you could do that, I mean, I know guys that I was trading with back in the day. They still all they trade is OTC. The pro tip I can give early on about it is take that profit, or at least half of it, okay, and put it into something long term that maybe your dad would own. Put it into like an Apple, buy some Boeing, put it into companies that are going to be around 10 years just to keep you from doing stupid shit with that profit, because it's easy come, easy go in the OTC, So you're putting in the time, you might as well sock away some of that dough for a rainy day.
yeah, I don't disagree with that, with taking profits, because these things, like I said to somebody today, they were looking at something. They're like, I like this one. And I looked at the chart real quick, and it ran from like subs to like 02 or something. And they were like trying to buy over the course of, by the way, it ran from subs to 02 over the course of like multiple weeks, right? Then they were trying to buy the dip on it. And I was just like, dude, they ran already. That's the other thing in the OTC is like once it runs, like when it has like a big ass run over the course of weeks, buying the dip is not always like a smart idea, because it's like they're all, at the end of the day, they're all pump and dumps, right? Like they pump up, no matter how good the story is, they all have an ending. Even TSNP, right? That story was quote unquote so amazing, and then what happens? They come to an end. So I'm not here to bash, but I don't care either, so it doesn't matter. But you agree, right? Like they all come to an end at some point. So
100%. And like you could see it, and that's the thing, and this goes for the meme stocks. It's like, look, if you like AMC, right? If you had AMC at like 18, you watched it go to 9, right, on that first run up, and then all of a sudden it hit 60, and let's say you're smart enough to take profit between 60 and 70, then that thing drops down, right? Like, you know what? You've already won. Like that's what people need to recognize. You need to recognize like these gains are anomalies, right? Like lucky money is the first money to leave your account.
I think another like cool thing that or an interesting thing that you guys kind of mentioned about OTC with all the big gains and everything is just the fact that if you're getting in sub 1 cent and then you see it go like this astronomical number and it's still only 8 cents and you're up thousands of percent. You imagine it at $3 and you just imagine this number that doesn't exist yet in your account and they get stuck on that.
Well, think about this, right? If you were to buy a stock at 008 and it hits 8 cents, you're literally, I know it sounds insane, but you're literally up 1,000%.
Yeah.
And then, but like, you have to realize too, like, so is everybody else. So,
yeah. I actually played a penny stock and I'm still in it. It's a weed company. It's a company that I know, and I know that it's like a legit company, but they don't know what the fuck they're doing with capital markets or whatever, but I know that they're growing like acres and acres of weed. So this thing goes down to like 11 cents. And I was like, I'll buy 10 grand worth, like 100. I got myself a clean 100,000 shares. When weed started to run up, all of a sudden this thing, which has one of the lowest floats in all of pot, goes to $1.50. And people are like, "You still holding?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "I got a little piece." I go, "I don't have anywhere near what I had." They're like, "Well, why? You believe in the company?" I was like, "Yeah, but I also, like take profit, and I know I'm going to get another shot at it." There's literally thousands and thousands of stocks that you could play. Like the whole name of the game is capital preservation. And that's something that you've got to learn early, because if you don't learn it early, then when you need to deploy cash, like when we had COVID, the next time they raise interest rates, you don't want to be selling your winners to try and buy the dip. You want to have cash ready that you can deploy. That way you can add to your winners. And this is something that's lost on a lot of the new traders that have come in since COVID.
Yeah, I generally have a 2-week rule. Like, it's a rule I came up with years ago. It's just like a 2-week rule, right? So, like, from the moment that the play starts with the hype and goes, 2 weeks later, if you're still playing it, it's already over. That's my rule, and it works on literally 99.5% of.
Yeah,
like there's literally, if you look at every stock that ran, you find one that ran more than 2 weeks from the beginning of the hype and the pump to 2 weeks after that. If you find anything that ran longer than 2 weeks, I'd be impressed, because there's not many.
Fuba.
Even but
that lasted like a month and a half.
Right. But then how many, like, exactly. That's why I didn't say that.
That's the only one I can think of.
No,
yeah.
They literally all go 2-week rule. It's like they all go, even AMC.
Oh, yeah.
AMC, watch. You'll be surprised to see AMC. It's been about 2 weeks now with the AMC crap.
They get a breath of life, and then, it's in and out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just stocks in general.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with LADE, especially if you're playing pennies, because remember, this market has the shortest attention span. And as soon as you flash another shiny object in front of them, they will move on it as quick as possible. And as soon as you do that, you suck all the Momo out of whatever it was that you were just in. And then it's just the suckers playing musical chairs on the way down.
Well, you know what else it is too? It's like, it's literally a mathematical issue, right? Because what happens is, if you remember GRNF, right? I know he does. So
Justin Costello, he's up for securities fraud. He took he took $5 million from one of my friends, one of their cannabis companies. He's being sued in federal court. That guy's going to jail, but go ahead.
That guy's a clown. But yeah, no, the point is, we'll just take that run, because that was, everyone remembers TSNP, but no one talks about GRNF
it was epic. It was epic.
It was DCGD, actually, is what it was before it was GRNF. So when it was DCGD, right? Let's just talk math. Let's forget about the catalyst. Let's forget about all the other crap that went with it. Just look at the math, right? the higher it goes, like I'll break it down. Okay. Subs to pennies, that's amazing. That's already amazing. But then you go pennies to 10 cents. That's amazing. But now from 10 to 20 to make 100% anymore, you got to go from 10 to 20. Okay. So that's hard. Then to go at 20 cents to make another 100%, you got to go to 40. Okay. So now it's like, okay, damn. At 40, to make another 100%, if you're a new buyer and you're buying in at 40, to make another 100%, it has to go to 80. At some point, the math it's not attractive anymore. And all the people who are in from the beginning, they get out, they take their profits, and then it doesn't make sense. Like mathematically, I can go buy a big piece of shit for 2 cents and sell at 3 cents and make 50%, while you have to buy a stock at, let's say, 40 cents, and you got to hope it gets to 60 just to make 50. Like eventually the math just becomes unattractive. That's why if you ever wonder why penny stocks dump out after a while, it's because the reason people play them is for the massive gains. But once the math starts becoming unattractive, where it has to just go too high for you to make another double up, it just, people start to get bored and they move on. Rightfully so, anyway.
That thing was so crazy when it was, what was it?
DCG.
DCDG. I wonder how much money Computer Bucks made on that thing.
Yeah.
That dude was in that thing at like dub 3.
Dude, honestly, I didn't even I didn't even play it. I wish I fucking did, but I didn't.
It went to like $2.30 or something crazy like that. It's 90,000%.
It's something insane, yeah. By the way, I feel bad for any of the who didn't sell up there, and they held all the way back down.
Well, I feel bad because people were sending it to me, and they were like, "Oh, have you seen this thing? It's this weed company." And I was like, "This is a scam." They're like, "How do you know?" I was like, "Because I'm in the business. I'm like not just on the pot side, but like I own, I at the time I owned like part of one of the biggest edibles company in California, and I knew people in the industry, and I was like, nothing that this guy is saying is possible. I go, have you looked at this? Have you looked at that? I was like, This is crap. And I'm telling this to a person at a penny.
It's like, there's no fucking billionaire. Like, this dude, come on. Like, I knew from day one that guy wasn't a billionaire.
Yeah, he also didn't go to Harvard. But that's the OTC, right?
Right.
And all these guys will go down. Like, it takes a while. Right. I've seen guys that are still in court for stuff that they were doing in like 2014, 2013, 5-6 years later. It's nuts.
But that's the thing with the OTC. A lot of times, like, people fake filings, they fake PR, they do all kinds of shit. And like you said before, I say it differently. I say people have the attention span of a fruit fly. Like, they just move around too quick. So it's like, you got to just take your profits when you have, you want to ride it up.
Yeah, you got to use these as a trading vehicle, not exactly investments.
Yeah, no, like, listen, I don't like to buy and sell for 10%. If I'm paying OTC, I want minimum 50, 100%. Minimum, And I get pissed when I don't get it, because it's like, they get annoyed when people flip out too early. But at the same time, I also don't marry them. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, these are, like, we had a rule. It was like, like just the tip, and you never marry it. You just want to like date it, have a one-night stand with it, and then just be done with it. But as soon as you start, drinking the Kool-Aid, that this thing is going to be huge. Like, they're like, the guy worked for Red Bull, like whatever it is, like that's it.
Yeah, dude, look at TSNP. It's like, come on, man. It's a fucking. No one's gonna stop using PayPal to go try out their bullshit. It's like, So there's your DD right there. Who cares what they have? Yeah. No one's gonna stop using PayPal. Period. End of story. That's it. It's not gonna happen. So
yeah, but like, I really enjoyed trading the OTC because you would have just like ridiculous gains, and especially if you're a stupid trader like I was early. Just putting way too much money in some of these pigs and then being rewarded, now, like, I still crave that same rush. But instead, I'm trading options, which give you similar type moves and like that similar buzz that you're looking for when you're trading trips and and other penny stock.
I always say options are like turning a big board stock into a penny stock. That's all it is. It's like you take weekly options on Microsoft or something. It's like taking a legitimate company, but you're getting moves on it like a penny stock.
Yeah. Are there kind of like any similarities that you guys see in options trading and OTC trading, aside from just like the rush you get at the big gains?
Oh yeah, options market's the most scammy, manipulated, front loading, dirty fucking game there is. Like, it's worse than OTC. But it's on a big boy level. It's so illegal. Like they won't front load shares. They'll front load options, and then news will come out, and then the options.
It's more lucrative, bro.
Yeah, but it's like, come on.
It's crazy. You'll have people that buy like options that are just so far out of the money just to try and spoof the algorithm, to like hedge. That's what the Wall Street Bets guys were doing on Tesla early on.
The best example I can give that shows it's manipulated is like, this was in the last year. Somebody bought Disney. You guys know Disney. It moves like $1 a day on average, right? So Disney was like 130, and someone bought like 150. It was like a Monday. They bought like 150 calls for a Friday, for like that coming Friday. And then like the next day, some bullshit news came out about something, and stock like popped to like 150, and then literally just tanked like the next day. And all the people who bought those calls bought the calls from the people who front loaded them like the day before, and they got stuck holding the back. And it's like, if anyone knows how stocks move, there's no way Disney could go $20 in 5 days.
Yeah,
buying those 150 calls makes no sense on any normal day, right?
Yeah, and it's funny because I was trading Disney calls like when it was moving between like 110 and 112, just back and forth. I'll give you another one. Back in 2018, when the SPY hit an all-time high of 293, that day somebody bought $2 million worth of SPY 230 and 240 puts for the end of December, and the SPY hit 234. December 24th.
And it hit like perfectly, right? Yeah.
They made it was something like $50 million on those puts.
Yeah, it's incredible. It really is. Like even today I saw I didn't play it. I should have. I saw SPY 215. I kept saying it. This fucking thing's going 215. Anyway, as soon as the market closed, it went like a bull's like a dart, like straight to fucking 214. Like, God damn.
Yeah, you know what the bet? This is the bet. All right, ready for everybody listening? Okay, that loves the rush of penny stocks, but wants it in an option where you can get paid like 500, 1,000% in 15 minutes.
This sounds like a advertisement. You want 500 to 1,500% in 15 minutes?
Yeah, right next to the bowling alley, down next to 7-Eleven. Yeah. So you buy SPY puts or calls, whatever it is. In that last 15 minutes, like it's called a YOLO, right? You only live once. It's money you don't need, but you can get options down at like 10 cents, 5 cents that they're about to expire. Now, trading SPY options, you can trade them till 4:15. You can also with like the NASDAQ and the Russell. A lot of people don't know that, but you can get into something like that, at the end of the day on a Friday when that option is expiring for like, 10 cents. So if you wanted to buy 10 contracts, it would cost you $100. To give you an idea, I think it was Monday, the SPY, it's red all day, red all day, red all day. Goes down to 420, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna buy a YOLO." SPY options are like every 2 days, so it was a Monday contract expiring that day. I buy it at 38 cents. Okay, All of a sudden, Apple pops 2% in the last 15 minutes. I think last 10 minutes. The SPY went from 420 to like 423 or something crazy like that. The option that I got went from 38 cents to $1.37. All right. And then a couple of days before that, it was like the same thing, except those options went from 4 cents to 2.50 in the last 15 minutes. It's nuts.
Yeah, no, I mean the thing is with the options, it is truly remarkable the amount of the risk reward on those is truly insane. Do you think there's more or less when it comes to like OTCs? Because I feel like in options there's like
The thing is,
I feel like saying an equal amount is such a bad thing to say about options.
I put them on the same level. Options are just as risky as OTC. The only difference with options is that they do expire worthless at some point, so you can't hold them forever. But as far as volatility and risk go, they're pretty much the same, in my opinion. The thing with OTC, like I tell everybody, because I think the OTC has a really bad stigma. People are afraid. Some people are afraid to touch it. They won't touch it. Some people think like they're all scams, whatever. Like, newsflash, every stock's a fucking scam. So that shouldn't be a reason not to play them. But it's all about your position sizing, right? If you want to get in, but like you don't know, like maybe just grab a little bit, you scale into it, or just cut your losses quick. But like, there's no reason not to play OTC. It's just like, to me, they're all the same.
Especially if you're believing the crazy ass price targets, if it's going to be $2 and it's 2 cents right now, what's the issue with only buying $200 worth? That'll be $40,000 in a year.
but dude, look, let me check this out. Forget about that, right? Look at the big board stuff. Let me pull it up on my phone because I don't remember. Okay, ATHA. Okay, stock is down 38% today. It's a mid cap or large cap, whatever this shit is. Big board stock. Okay. So this is supposed to be better than OTC. It's supposed to be safer. You got all the financials, everything's available to you, all the information, earnings, everything that you need. That's all there. So it's quote unquote better than OTC. This is way better than OTC because it's a real company. Blah, blah, blah. Right? But then someone accuses the CEO of some bullshit and the stock drops 40%. You lose 40% of your money if you were holding it yesterday. Now that's the large caps. Now where is this any different than the OTC when you lose 40% in a day? They accuse the CEO of doctoring up some info back in the day or something. I don't know, but like the stock tanked on some nonsense news today and it just fucked up the whole stock. But my point is, I guess what I'm really saying is all these stocks are pieces of shit.
Yeah, anything can happen anyway.
Exactly. That's what I'm really trying to say. Like,
You can get headline risked on anything. Like,
what was that stock that was like Fastly? Was it Fastly? The thing fucking got smoked earlier this year. Fistly or whatever, FSLY.
Yeah.
I mean, even like with like Luckin Coffee, I mean, that was a very big coffee brand.
Right. Biggest in China. It was like $20. Kramer's like, buy. And then they found out that they were cooking the books, and then it dropped down to like $6.
Right.
Yeah, it got halted for like a month and a half.
Right. So that just concludes my theory that these are all, I don't trust any of these damn stocks more than I can.
Yeah, and that's a really good way. Assume that every stock is going to try and fuck you at some point. Yeah.
Just like the brokers.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have seen that recently. I think going to a little fun topic, Wolf of Wheat Street, obviously we know what he likes to invest in. It's in the name. BACKK, one of his favorite stocks is Wing, which is Wingstop.
Yeah.
Would both of you guys like to argue your points as to which ones will be bigger in the future? And 10 years from now, will wings or weed be more at the American forefront?
Well, I don't think either. I think both of them are not going anywhere. I think they're equal because like wings are not going anywhere. It's not like a trend. It's not like people eat more wings now than they did before. It's just kind of like it's constant. And I think weed might have more growth in that sector. The only difference with with weed, and maybe Wolf of Weed Street can tell me otherwise, or he agrees. I don't know, but I'm curious what he thinks. My opinion on weed is that it's a super crowded sector. So you have to find, it's great that weed's going to be, big in the future. That's fine. But the hard part is finding which stock to get into, because it's a super crowded space, overcrowded in my opinion. And it's like, there's not enough money to go around everywhere. So you got to really find the right one. And that's not my specialty. So I'm curious what he has to say.
Yeah, I don't think it's crowded at all. Okay. Here's why. So the TAM, or total addressable market in the United States, is growing really fast. Okay. So as more states adopt, cannabis laws, that increases the TAM. New York just went rec, Connecticut just went rec. So this jacks up that number. To give you an idea, in 2014, when I first really got into it, the whole U.S. market was $1.3 billion. 2020, it's $17.5 billion. By 2025, they think it'll be $30 billion in cannabis sales. Okay. Now, that's just cannabis sales, as in flower. Right now it's like 1% of that is drinks, like less than 1% of that is edibles and vapes and stuff like that. But, once legalization happens, then it becomes a brand story. This is when you have the Snickers, the Red Bull, these companies are going to be a lot like the tobacco companies. So like Philip Morris back in the day, they were growing tobacco. Now they buy it from farmers and they control the price. Their brand is like Marlboro, Camel, and, all those cancer sticks. Now that's just here in the United States. But once you legalize, like fully legalize, and it's going to take a while, like even if they legalize tomorrow, it would probably take a year or 2 years for the states to figure it out, because there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Like, I'm not going to bore you with interstate commerce talk. But right now, conservatively, the black market is like $50 billion a year. Okay. So we're doing like 17. So let's just say, for argument's sake, we call the market just in flower, okay, $75 billion. Okay. The biggest cannabis company in the United States, Curaleaf, actually it's the biggest cannabis company in the world, did $266 million last quarter. The quarter before that, they did 233. You can actually see that all of these companies are selling more and more weed. The fastest demographic for people consuming weed is old people, believe it or not, 55 and over. They also have the most disposable income. All right. Consensus is at like 67%, so people accepting it. All right. Now we're just talking about flower. So now what happens, and what recently happened, is they're allowing other universities to study cannabis. Before, you could only grow marijuana where it was federally legal in one place, in the University of Mississippi. And I'm sorry if you're from Mississippi, but Mississippi does not have the best schools. All right. University of Mississippi isn't even in the top 100 for, in like terms of like medical schools and science. Okay. It's not like Stanford or Harvard or whatever. Okay. So now they're going to start studying cannabis. Once that happens, then that opens it up to drug therapies. And we already know that cannabis works for, a bunch of things. If you're nauseous, if you shit yourself because you have Crohn's disease, if you've got post-traumatic stress disorder, blah, blah, blah. The reason why, because there are natural endocannabinoids in your body. They've been there for 30 million years. You're not going to find a natural endocannabinoid in a Percocet or an Oxycontin. If you start studying cannabis and now developing the molecules to go into, some kind of like pain management, something for, sickness or whatever. Now you're slicing into pharma, which is a monster, it's $1 trillion industry. And now that's not even including export. because it's legal. Now you can export to other countries where it's legal, like the Canadians, try and do. So yeah, it's really big. It is crowded. It's crowded in the sense of there's a lot of shit companies, but if you look at like the top 20 companies, they're all actually doing it. And none of those companies, like I wouldn't touch anything in Canada, right? If you look at like the top 5 countries in the United States, like those are the companies that are going to be here forever. But once legalization happens, it becomes an execution story, and you're going to see a massive consolidation. And those are the companies that you're going to want to be in. That's my rant.
Yeah, well, so that's what I was basically getting at. Is like, I don't doubt that's going to be big. The hard part is finding the companies to invest in. Like, not every single one of them is going to be a winner, and that's the hard. I wasn't doubting any of this stuff as far as the growth of the sector. Just finding the particular stocks to buy. That's where you kind of have to like do some research and know what you're doing. That's not going to be easy.
Okay. I'll get, because this is, a stock thing, I'll just say Trulieve, Green Thumb Industries, and then Curaleaf. Those are the top 3 companies in no particular order. Those are the 3 best companies. They're absolutely blowing out the companies in Canada. Like, there's not even a comparison.
How much do you weigh name recognition? Like, for example, Tilray. Tilray, everybody knows Tilray. And whether it's a good stock or not, I don't even know myself. But I know it's like, when I think marijuana,
the leader of the weed sector, yeah.
Yeah, like that's the company that pops right into my head as soon as I think weed. How much does that weigh into all this? Because like,
it's shit. It's shit.
Right. But I think like the name recognition of these.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Because I got you. So like Canopy Growth, Aurora, Tilray, Sundial. So the reason that everybody knows these is because everybody can trade them. Because you can buy them on Robinhood, you can buy them on Webull, you can buy them on some obscure brokerage. You can't buy the companies that are dual listed on the CSE and the OTC that happen to be the best companies if you're on Robinhood or if you're on Webull, or if you're with like Merrill Lynch. Okay. So all of these trade on a major exchange, either the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ. So they're a lot more liquid. The OTC companies, they're basically traded between people like me, and some like family offices that will take down $100 million, dollars worth of stock, which, it recently just happened. Once these companies, and it will happen, I think in the next year, will be able to list on major exchanges, all that liquidity that's in Canopy, Tilray, Sundial is coming to the United States. It's coming to whoever goes first, because those companies like Canopy Growth, okay? Canopy Growth is like neck and neck with Curaleaf in terms of market cap. All right. Canopy Growth did $155 million last quarter. It has $2 billion in write-downs. Okay. It has a negative margin. Curaleaf their margin was positive 66%. It did $100 million more than Canopy, and it trades at a multiple of 6. Canopy trades at a multiple of 19. Sundial trades at a multiple of like 70. Chronos trades at a multiple of like 70. Tilray, same thing, like crazy multiples. And it's just because everybody has access to them. They're using those as just trading vehicles. That's the only reason why Tilray runs up to 75 in February and then comes right back down to 18.
Right. No, they're pieces of crap. The problem, like, I agree with you 100%. And then the problem that throws all this stuff off is that there's something that you said earlier about liquidity. Like, people love, who doesn't love liquidity? We all do, right? So that's, unfortunately, the thing that keeps those stupid stocks at the top of the to trending and all that crap. They keep those up there because they have the liquidity, so they'll always so the hard part is for these companies that you mentioned that trade on the OTC. The hard part is to get them the recognition that they need so that they can have, or uplist them so they can have the liquidity.
Right. Okay. But is your goal to make money or get into a lot of trades where your win rate is you win 7, you lose 3. You win 7, you lose 3. The more trades you make, the riskier it gets. The way that you really get rich over time is by, investing and, being fiscally responsible. I'm not trying to sound like a nerd. It's going to set up my point. Now, these companies, they're not as liquid as something on the New York Stock Exchange. But if you can buy them, right? Curaleaf is a $100 company in 5 years. I think in 2 to 3 years, it's a $50 company. It's 13 right now. So it's a multi-bagger. And you can say that about Green Thumb and you can say that about Trulieve. But the best part is that on that day when they do go to the big board, it's the institutional money that is buying them. And they're buying them from you, which is a complete reversal of how the market works. Where, usually we're the peasants. In this case, the institutions and the hedge funds that can't buy OTC companies because it's part of their mandate or because they're not liquid enough now have to get exposure and they have to buy them from us.
Boom.
Which is, so it's we get to buy it now and they get to buy it from us later.
Yeah. I don't disagree with anything you're saying. That's that's the dream. That's what we want to happen. And that goes back to what I said before. It's just finding. The only thing I say is you have to know which ones to find. I think we can be huge in the future. It's just you got to get the right ones. And I don't know.
Just follow me. Just follow me on Twitter, and then I make it easy. I make it idiot-proof.
There you go, guys. You follow LADE on Twitter and Wolf of Weed Street on Twitter, and your dreams will come true. I genuinely cannot thank you guys enough for doing a last-minute podcast on a Friday at 9 p.m. We made it happen. It's all here. If you guys have anything to plug, this is the time. And thanks again for joining.
Yeah, man, no problem, man. I know we were supposed to meet up in Miami last week. I got
shit happens, bro.
Yeah, that's fucking happens.
Are you laid back? Are you in Miami?
Yeah.
I'm in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, really? Yeah. I just moved down here from New York. I don't know.
Oh, I'm from New York. I've been here since 2006, buddy.
Oh shit.
Nice.
There you go. This is a friendship budding right here.
Really
you guys can DM each other after this right here.
We're gonna have to follow each other.
Yeah. I'll follow you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining, and y'all have a good weekend.
All right, man. Later.